We're with Congressman Bill Keating this morning.
Thank you very much for being with us again, Congressman, at the Bourne Rotary there. Let's turn the conversation to Washington. What's the latest update on the House convincing the Senate and the White House to pass another relief package?
I think that the House is taking an oversized role in policy because there has been a vacuum with the administration. Frankly, everything we've done has turned into policy, and it's been embraced by the President and the Senate. So I think that's going to happen with this new plan that we have, the HEROES Act, the $3 trillion plan. Much of that will be adopted, I say confidently, by the House, by the Senate and the administration, because it has to. We're just realizing what has to be done and moving forward. The cities and towns and the states are going bankrupt. They're facing bankruptcy. They're also the biggest employer in my district, and I think in most members' districts. And they're about to go under. So you're going to see pressure on the Senate and the administration to take, which is a third of those monies, and act on those as well as some of the other things we're doing, including more for testing.
But what kind of timeline are we talking about? Are we talking about in the next month or more like in the fall, which seems to be the message that's being sent out of the White House right now?
We can't wait till the fall, and that's just the fact. That every economic expert is telling us that, conservative ones and liberal ones. This is the part where even the most divergent economic experts agree. The money has to go early or it's not being used properly. What we're spending on, for every $4 now is going to cost us $5 or $6 waiting just weeks. So it's unfortunate the Senate has gone for the month. They're not going to come back and work on anything till June. There might be posturing. I hope that's all it is. But we have to act on these things, and we have to act quickly.
Congressman, there are questions as to what is the best way to disperse the money. The first few bills didn't seem to boost the economy perhaps as well, or as many people had hoped for. So here's my question. Should it be sent as salary replacements, or should it be sent as debit cards, where obviously it's more likely to be spent and not saved?
Well, I think the biggest things going forward are to make sure, and we're talking about small businesses, that we're making the corrections in the small business program. That money wasn't sifting down to the smallest of businesses, the smaller businesses. The big businesses had the arrangements with the banks and lending institutions. They had it in place. They had accountants and lawyers. They were ready to roll. And the smaller business didn't. On the second plan that we passed, we put the money into, a lot of it, into smaller institutions. And now we're going back this week to debate changing that small business plan to make sure there's flexibility in the plan, because it was an 8-week plan, and right here in the Cape, it was critical. It wasn't as valuable to people in the Cape because you had to spend that in the 8 weeks that ended in June. We needed more, and we're going to be voting on something that extends that to 24 weeks or 12 weeks, or at least expands it dramatically. That's a big priority. When it gets to the money itself that you talked about, Ed, everyone has their own view. The stimulus payments, there might be another round of doing it that way directly. I don't know about debit cards. That's something that normally would be taken, in terms of the administration making those decisions. I think that gearing in on unemployment with the people I've talked about and making sure the money goes to those that are unemployed and extending that out is critical because, number one, it helps stimulate the economy. That money is going to be spent immediately, and you're really getting in the hands of the people that are hurting directly.
Congressman, I know you've been going back and forth between Bourne and D.C., and this past week, the president, who was visiting Michigan, refused to wear a mask in front of the cameras anyway. So my question to you, how about your colleagues? Are most of your colleagues wearing masks? Are there any that are still getting into tight spots and not wearing masks?
Disappointingly, some of my colleagues, as we've gone back, are not wearing the masks, and even the rules are quite clear. There's a big sign in those crowded elevators that perhaps you've been in, Janet, at one time or another, and there's a sign that says you can't use the elevator without a mask, and yet some of my colleagues are doing that. I just step out when they do it, and they know what I'm saying by doing that.
Both Republicans and Democrats?
It's the wrong thing to do for everyone else. Well, I don't want to get partisan, but the observations, I haven't seen any other than certain Republicans. And remember this, the majority of the Republicans are doing that and adhering to the rules. but the ones that aren't happen to be Republicans, yes.
Congressman, thank you so much for your time. We greatly appreciate it. Let me just state for the record, he is more than appropriately social distanced even from the photographer who was down there. So all is well. That's why there's no mask there. Congressman, be well. Enjoy the weekend.
Well, thank you, Ed. And we're a few miles from the second largest military cemetery in the country in Bourne. Let's remember our veterans who have given all for us and remember them this weekend.
Great reminder. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Congressman Bill Keating joining us from Bourne.